The morning of February 13th, 2025, crept into Pittsburgh's Sheridan neighborhood like a secret keeping its breath. Gray skies hanging low, and the city still half asleep. But somewhere between the hum of early traffic and the chill of dawn, fate was sharpening its blade. At the heart of it all was Taylor Hall, a 26-year-old mother, businesswoman, and dreamer. A woman who built her empire from the ground up, brick by brick, braid by braid. To her clients, she was Pretty Flay, bold, beautiful, and unstoppable. But beneath the shimmer of success, a storm had been brewing, one that would soon erupt with the force of a hurricane. That morning, Taylor typed a Facebook post, a cryptic, fiery message that sounded more like a warning than a rant. It was the spark that lit the match, a defiant line between power and peril. Within hours, her words would become prophecy. By 8:20 a.m., the peace of Sheridan shattered under the roar of gunfire. Bullets tore through the air like thunder breaking glass. Neighbors froze. And there, inside an apartment on Kelvin Street, Taylor Hall fought for her life against someone she once trusted, someone who mistook control for love. Her final moments were a battle, fierce, frantic, unforgettable. Bleeding, but not broken, she did what few could. She climbed into her SUV, pressed her trembling hands to the wheel, and drove, gasping for breath, clinging to life like it was her last business to save. 2 blocks. That's all she managed before her world went dark. When police arrived, they first thought it was a car crash, until they saw the blood, the bullet wound, the chaos inside that apartment. 2 crime scenes, 1 broken heart, and a trail of courage written in red. As detectives pieced together the evidence, shell casings, phone records, that haunting Facebook post, the truth unfolded like a cruel joke. The man behind the trigger wasn't a stranger lurking in the dark. He was someone from her own light, someone who claimed to love her. The irony? Taylor spent her life making others feel beautiful, powerful, and alive, only to be destroyed by a man who couldn't stand her power. And as police launched their investigation, combing through digital trails and witness accounts, the Sheridan community waited, demanding justice for the woman who refused to die quietly. This is her story. The morning of February 13th, 2025, began like any other in Pittsburgh's Sheridan neighborhood, calm, gray, and drowsy with the hum of distant traffic. But within those sleepy streets, a storm was quietly brewing. In the stillness before dawn, a young mother named Taylor Hall, known to her friends as Pretty Flay, was typing what would become her last words. Her fingers moved across the screen like raindrops on glass. Deliberate, tense, full of purpose. Sometimes you gotta really show a ninja who's running the show around here. 22 words. That's all it took to ignite a chain of events that would end in tragedy. A warning, a declaration, and perhaps, unknowingly, a goodbye. 2 hours later, at 8:20 a.m., the silence of Sheridan shattered. Gunfire echoed through 3167 Kelvin Street, bouncing off brick walls like thunder that refused to fade. And within minutes, neighbors would witness a black SUV careening down Chartiers Avenue, its driver bleeding, gasping, fighting against death itself. Taylor Hall was more than a headline. She was 26, a mother, an entrepreneur, and a powerhouse in motion. While others her age were still finding their footing, Taylor had already built 3 thriving businesses from scratch. Her salon, Place Lace, was a haven for women seeking transformation. With every lace front and braid, she didn't just change appearances, she restored confidence. Her touch turned insecurity into beauty, and her chair was a sanctuary. Then came Scented Dreams, her handmade line of organic scrubs and soaps, a reflection of her nurturing side. Each jar, wrapped by her own trembling hands, smelled like ambition and lavender. Her third venture, a clothing brand, spoke for the bold, women who refused to live small. Taylor's life was an endless balancing act. Hospital shifts before dawn, clients in the evening, and bedtime stories sandwiched between. Her hands created, healed, and hustled. Hands that built, hands that would later be found cold. But behind the glow of success simmered something darker. Taylor was caught in the tug of war of a complicated relationship, the kind that begins with laughter and ends in slammed doors. It was love with sharp edges, passionate when it was good, poisonous when it wasn't. Friends described her romance as a roller coaster without brakes. One day smiles and matching outfits, the next midnight arguments echoing through her phone. The same man who made her laugh could also make her cry. And that morning, it seemed, Taylor had had enough. Her Facebook post wasn't a random outburst, it was a message aimed at someone who had crossed her final line. The irony? In asserting her strength, Taylor may have signed her own death warrant. Between 6:18 a.m. and 8:20 p.m., something happened. Something powerful enough to drag Taylor to that apartment on Kelvin Street. Whether she was lured there or went willingly remains a mystery. She wasn't afraid. She was determined. Then, gunfire. The sound ripped through the morning air like the breaking of glass. Inside that apartment, chaos unfolded. Overturned furniture, shattered dreams, and the unmistakable signs of struggle. Taylor fought back. Every mark in that room whispered her refusal to surrender. But a single bullet ended it. Bleeding, fading but not broken, Taylor did the unthinkable. She staggered to her SUV, clutching her wound, and started the engine. The tires screeched as she pulled away, every second a battle between survival and surrender. 2 blocks, that's all she managed. 2 blocks of raw courage. 2 blocks that separated life from death. Her vehicle swerved like a wounded animal before crashing into a pole on Chartiers Avenue. The airbag exploded. The world went silent. When first responders arrived, they thought they were dealing with a car accident, until they saw the blood. They fought for her. Chest compressions, oxygen, whispered prayers. For 22 minutes, they battled death itself. But at 8:44 a.m., the fight was over. Taylor Hall, mother, creator, dreamer, was gone. Investigators soon realized they were dealing with not one, but 2 crime scenes. The apartment where the bullet was fired, and the street where a mother took her final breath. Evidence poured in. Fingerprints, shell casings, digital trails, Facebook posts frozen in time. And yet, justice has moved slower than grief. 8 months later, the Sheridan community still whispers her name, still asks, was that Facebook post a warning or a prophecy? Each unanswered question feels like another wound, the kind that never heals. Taylor Hall's story is not one of weakness, it's one of defiance. She refused to bow to fear, to disrespect, to mediocrity. Even in her final moments, she fought, not just for herself, but for the children whose laughter was her reason to keep going. Irony lingers heavy in her story. She spent her life helping women feel alive, only to be silenced by someone who couldn't handle her strength. She built businesses from nothing for her life to be destroyed by someone who contributed nothing but pain. And those two haunting blocks, stand as a symbol of her willpower. They tell the story of a woman who drove through agony, chasing safety she would never reach. Taylor's story reminds us that behind every Facebook post, there's a human heartbeat, one that can stop without warning. Her final message wasn't just defiance. It was a cry for respect, for dignity, for peace she never got to find. Until her killer is held accountable, her story will echo through Sheridan, not as a whisper of tragedy, but as a roar demanding justice. Because Taylor Hall didn't die quietly. She drove through pain 2 blocks from home, leaving a trail of courage behind her.